Hi Aries, and welcome to Yellow Cardinal Tarot. And this is a brand new channel. My first reading for you was in December, so I hope you had a chance to look at that. In this channel, we look at shadow work, and we look at, sort of where you're sitting with, what energy you're sitting with, what's coming up for you, what's coming up in your shadow that you need to deal with, and then the tarot will give you some guidance. And at the end, once I've given you the guidance from the tarot, I'm also going to give you some video recommendations from my other channel called Carol Cares. And that other channel has everything to do with your mental health, like journaling, emotional journaling, which I teach you, and grounding, and I teach you that also, and emotions, and how to process your emotions. So there's a lot on that channel. Some good stuff on that channel. And yeah, so let's get started today. What I want to look at today is what patterns or unresolved issues or situations that you're bringing into 2024 that you probably want to really get rid of, and you kind of something that's probably going to be big, like you've had enough of it, and you're fed up. And because it's 2024, you're starting a new year, and a lot of times we want to start off on a new foot, right? And so let's just take a look at what's sort of left over from 2023 that you want to look at. And so Aries, let's start. We're going to ask the tarot right now a few cards for you to show us what sort of energy you're sitting in right now. And I'm using the Light Seers Tarot just for my top row, and then I'll clarify that with the Rider-Waite, and then I'll pull an oracle card for you at the end. So let's begin with your situation, what present situation you're in right now. Give me a card or two from the tarot. See what situation you're sitting with. And the Ten of Swords comes out for you in reverse. I do read reversals also. So let's look at right now your shadow. And what shadow aspect is coming up for you that is linked to this. And you have three cards. The Page of Swords, the World card, and the Wheel in reverse is your shadow. And for the advice right now for you, what advice does the tarot have for you? What guidance does the tarot have for you in order to heal this hurt that's coming up from the shadow, that's whatever that's coming up here? And you have this card, and there was another card in here. Yeah, two other cards here. So you have the Five of Cups in reverse, the Hangman in reverse, and the Four of Cups. Okay, let's talk about these cards right here, our first row, and then I will clarify, get some more information on what I said. So the first card that's come up for you is the Ten of Swords in reverse. All right, so this particular Ten of Swords, 10 is the completion of any cycle that we're in. And the swords is all about our mental body, what we're thinking, what we're believing, the thoughts that we're telling us, the belief systems that people, that we have because people have told us that that's the way we are when we were younger. And so we've believed them because we were young and vulnerable. And so it's all the mental energy that's going on. And I like the crows in this Light Seers deck because crows for me is that bird that it's a very, very intelligent bird. And I see it as a messenger. I know that sometimes if I hear crows chirping randomly, like just making a lot of noise or just having a lot of, crows randomly show up in places I just really wouldn't have thought about. And for me, it's, they're messenger birds. So they're leaving here. She's completed a cycle. They're leaving here. So this woman is no longer receiving these messages. She's not hearing them because they're gone. And it's in reverse. So the swords I know that in the Rider-Waite deck, this is about this individual that has, you know, all these swords on his back, and it's almost like he's done, he's fed up, he's just really done with sort of what he's been dealing with. And done to me means a lot of times we shut down things, right? And so I feel like everything kind of has been shut down here. The birds have flown away, and this is in reverse. And there's just a lot of mental energy that has been going on with you. And sometimes when that happens, we just shut down because we can't take it anymore. And I'm wondering if that's where you are right now, where you're just trying to shut that chirping in your head that won't stop. And I've been there too many times. So I get where you are. And so we'll get some clarification on that and exactly what's going on. A little bit more about, you know, that chirping in your head that is just that you've just shut it down because it's, you know, it's tough. It's hard to hear sometimes. And what's coming up in your shadow that's linked to this? What's coming up in your shadow? So the first card that comes up is the Page of Swords. And so you have another Swords card here. And the Page of Swords for me is the page. All my court cards are parts. So there's a part of you, and the page represents a very young part, like a young child, 4, 5, 6 years old, that is very much, you know, young children are very intuitive. They're very much in touch with their body. They really kind of have a sense of who they are until people tell them who they are. You know, they think they're this. You know, mommy, look at me, I'm a great artist. And then they get told they're not. Or, I mean, that, you know, it could be so many different gifts that we have that are buried in your shadow, by the way, that sometimes get shut down by people around us. And the sword is all about, you know, this person has these light bulbs in the air of like going off. And to me, it's like in your shadow, there's a part of you, a young part of you that knew who they were at one time and wants to again get in touch with you because their pages are our inner children. And they're often in our shadow, they're buried. These parts of us are buried in the unconscious. And they want to they want you to get in touch with them. And they want to tell you who you are. They know, these young children of ours, they know who we are. But they've been shut down. Or they've been told, you know, not to show certain things or not to behave a certain way. And a lot of times when we're sitting in this energy at the beginning where I said like these chirping and stuff, you don't even hear it, you're tired of hearing it. These are these ideas that people told us who we were when we were younger, these belief systems. They chirp in our head all the time. You know, like if we want to start something new. No, you can't do that. Or they often sound like parents when these ideas come in your head. You know, you're not allowed to do that. Or who do you think you are? Or those kind of ideas that we hear in our heads that we say that to ourselves when we're about to do something for ourselves. We're about to take our life in a new direction. This is the kind of chirping that we hear in our head. Well, it seems like you've shut that down right now. And so this authenticity, this younger part of us is sitting in our shadow that knows who they are and knows that they're so capable of so much. And it's very interesting because I always like to point out this card because if you see in the background, there's these patterns that look to me like that spirograph. And you know, hopefully you know what I'm talking about. There's a spiral, and it's still out, by the way. I Googled it the other day. It's that spirograph game when we were younger and we can make all these patterns and, you know, we put that plastic thing and our pen in it and make all these patterns with it. You know, there's so many different patterns you can make. And our authentic, the younger child in us who knows who they are, knows that there's so much in our shadow. There's so much that we can do. And then the World card comes in reverse here, because things happen in our life, like throughout our lifetime. I think, was the World card in reverse? I might have been in reverse too. But, you know, same kind of idea. There's not much big difference. It's just a resistance to seeing that there's a lot out there that's sitting in your shadow. This one came in reverse. So the Wheel card is the, you know, kind of like the life, the life wheel turning, and things happen. So, you know, there have been circumstances in your life when you were a child, and maybe you know of them or don't know of them. Some of us don't remember a lot of our childhood. I didn't remember a lot of my childhood, and I do now. I'm starting to remember it now. But the Wheel card says, you know, there are certain circumstances that have happened in your life that have caused, you know, things to happen, whether it's trauma, and we all have trauma. And so this is another way that we've picked up certain belief systems or patterns. Actually, things that happen in our life when we're younger develop a lot of the patterns that we're trying to work out right now in our life. And so the Wheel card is here in reverse for you, saying maybe you don't see, maybe you're not aware of the patterns, the conditioning, or the belief systems that you were raised with that have negated this you that you really are. And like I said, we can spin on those belief systems and spin them in our head over and over and over again, and they really, our mind can take over. And this is what's coming up from your shadow right now, is saying, you know, you need the real you. It was formed on, you know, these spirograph pictures and belief systems here that were handed to you, and they're not real. Like, they're just circumstances in your life, and that's what happened. The wheel of life turned when you were younger, and you picked up all these belief systems about yourself, and that's how you see yourself, is from what people have told you about you. That's how we all see ourselves. But this is what's coming up for you in your shadow right now. Because in the advice from the tarot, I'm getting the Five of Cups in reverse. So the Five of Cups is that card where, you know, you have these cups that are back here, you know, that are sitting there, and they look like they're spilled. And you have two more cups that remain that have, you know, they're still not spilled yet. Like, they're still, she's pouring this cup, and then soon it's going to be 4 cups are spilled, and then she'll have 1 left. But her main focus here is really on these cups that have been spilled. And this is what's in reverse for you. This is the advice, is your focus needs to go, you know, need to change, because you're so, and we know that because your focus here has been on your belief systems, and you've given up, kind of, where, because your focus has always been on, you know, those cups that have spilled, and you need to look at those cups that are still available for you to look at. There's always something there that you can, a crack, just a little crack of hope or a crack of light to open and say, you know, this is like this crack in this earth that's opening up for you right now. And I see that. It's like a little crack of light, or a crack it is the light at the bottom here. And maybe you're not seeing it. Maybe you're not seeing it because there's a resistance to looking at it. And I understand there's a resistance to looking at that light, because you're sitting in this state where you've just given up. You're fed up with these thoughts that go in your head all the time about yourself, and it's really leading your life, and that's your belief system. That's who you are. And so there is a resistance of, you know, you don't see it. So the tarot was saying you don't see this light. There's this little light here at the end of the tunnel for you. There's this little light that says, and it's the Hangman here that comes up, and the Hangman's in reverse, and the Hangman is all about this woman that's hanging from this trapeze, and she has absolutely no fear because she trusts herself. And this is in reverse for you, saying that there is a real resistance to trusting yourself. You don't trust yourself, and that's understandable because you're trusting the belief systems of what people told you about yourself. And if you continue to trust those belief systems that are not true, because the Page of Swords is here in your shadow saying, listen, I know who you are. I know I can help you cut through this bullshit of who you think you are, but it's not who you are. And when we start to live our life on the belief systems of what other people told us we are, it's difficult and it's painful to live that life. And so the tarot wants to turn this around and wants to turn this hangman around for you and say, start to trust who you are. And it's time to start to find out who you are from yourself. Like, we have to go inwards and we have to start learning how to ground into our body so that we can get in touch with this inner child right here that knows who you are. That's how you're going to get free of those belief systems. And then finally in the guidance for the tarot, it says, here you are sitting with, the 4. So we're going from a 5 to a 4. 5 is about change and conflict. And what's really nice is because the 5 here, the first card, this is a card of change, conflict and change. And then it's nice to see the last card that comes for you out of the 3 is the 4 of Cups here. Because here you are focusing on, all these spilled cups and feeling the 5 of Cups is, just feeling that a lot of hopelessness in that card. And it changes to a 4, which is really nice because here you are again sitting with these 3 spilled cups here. But you have another one here on offer. There's this hand that's bringing it to you, that's offering you something. And that's the hand of the universe. That's the hand offering you. It's like another ace here. It's the same ace, but this time it's an offer saying, are you ready to feel? Are you ready to feel, what you've lost? Are you ready to feel what your way out of this? Because the only way that you can get out of it and find out who you really are is to start to go inwards and start to ground yourself and start to journal from your emotions and take this cup from the universe. Because when the universe offers you this, it's a gift and you really have to take it. It's really saying it's time to take this. And it's time to find out who you are, not what other people told you are, but what you are, what you really are before people told you what you were. Because we're born into this world with gifts. We're born into this world with who we are, and that gets tarnished by everybody around us, including people we went to school with, including, friends, childhood, adolescents, teachers, parents, caretakers, all kinds of people that were out there, and they figured they knew us better, and they told us who we were, what we weren't supposed to do, and that's our definition of self is made up of everyone else around us. And this reading is saying to you, well, you want to figure out who you really are? This 10 of Swords says you've had enough of what everyone else is saying you are. You've had enough. It's time to start feeling, going inwards and finding out who you really are. So let's get some clarifications for that 10 of Swords. And what's going on with the, with the mind spinning and fed up and those birds flying away. And whoa, let's ask for some clarification from the universe for that 10 of Swords, please. And we got the Magician card, which is a nice card coming out for you. Nice Major Arcana, number 1. Oh, and then you have a group of cards here. I wasn't looking. The Page of Cups, the 3 of Pentacles. the Three of Wands in reverse, and the Five of Swords upright. Five of Swords upright. Let's have clarification for our shadow cards here. Clarification for our shadow cards. You have the Two of Cups. Clarification. And you have the Ten of Wands. And you have the Five of Cups. So that's the Five of Cups is in upright here. So it's the second time it's coming up. This time it's coming up in your shadow. All right, so let's look at guidance. And here's some clarification now for this guidance. Clarification for guidance from the tarot. Tarot's a bit stuck here on this one. Oh, here we go. We have one card. We have a Queen of Wands. And I'd like some more, please. A couple more cards, maybe. A couple more cards from the tarot. King of Cups, and one more, please. I think I have three. Yeah. Justice card. Justice card. I like that. Okay, and then I'll end it with an oracle card and recommendation from me. All right, so we have a reading here, Aries. All right, so Aries, you're sitting here kind of giving up. Looks like you're giving up. Lots of spinning going around in your head. Belief systems. People have given you these belief systems. And you've believed them all your life. And you're kind of had enough. Don't blame you. The Magician card is the first card that comes out for us. And that's number one. And that's the first place in life. Now, this whole major arcana is the Fool's journey as he goes through life. Right? So Fool can come and go anywhere he wants. When there's a major transformation that has to take place. But at the very beginning of his journey, the first person he meets is the Magician. And the Magician says, he's what you call the master manifester. He's the one that manifests things. He uses his mind and he can make things happen. And most of us nowadays, that's what we do, is we use our mind, and that's how we make our decisions. But this particular magician is grounded. He has his wand up, facing up to the universe, and then he has his hand facing down to the abundance right below him. And so he acts like a lightning rod, bringing in the energy from the universe, and whatever he does, it's going to be grounded, and it's not going to be something that he holds and keeps. It's going to come through him, and you'll use it to make a decision, and it comes back out. And he has all the elements here. He has the cup, he has the pentacle, the wand, and the sword sitting there. He has everything at your disposal to make a change, to make something happen. Now, I'm not telling you to go and write any manifestation journal here. I'm not telling you to just say, I want this to happen, because I know damn well that doesn't happen when you want something to happen. But this is the message of the Magician for me. And this is the message that I was given at the beginning of my shadow work journey that I'm still on and will be on forever. Is that, and my therapist told me this, she said, whenever I was stuck, like I see you right here, whenever I was in this situation where I just couldn't make any decision by myself, because I was so used to, I have complex trauma, so I was so used to having people tell me what to do. I was so used to, I was controlled. And so, I spent pretty much all my life being controlled by people, and to a point where I would look to people to make my decisions for me, and I didn't realize I was doing that because that's what I was used to. That was the pattern I was raised in. And now I'm in a position where I have to, I'm forced to because I'm on my own, where I have to make my own decisions. I'm forced to. And that's where the universe has brought me. And what I learned at the beginning of my journey, and this is what I didn't want to hear because it was very scary for me, was that every question you have, about yourself and your life and who you are and everything, you have all the answers in you. You just have to, ask, and you have to, and in order to get inside yourself and find out your answers, you have to learn about grounding and journaling and get in touch with your intuition that has all your answers for you. Because this particular magician, he's very much a doer, and he does things, and he does it in a grounded way, but, he has all the answers, and he is the manifester. But this is kind of reminding you that this card for me is that you have all the answers. They're in you. You have everything at your disposal to do what you need to do in a grounded way. All right? So that's the first thing that's coming to me in your present situation, is that it's saying, I know where you are right now. I know what situation you're in right now. But you have everything. You have the answers inside of you. The Page of Cups is coming here in your present situation. And the pages for me are that very, very young inner child part of us, right? And so I'm seeing that the Page of Cups for me is the inner child that has love backing them up. And which means that they're very much an inner child, very young part of you that's really seeking for love, that's really feeling unloved right now. And it's a tough situation to be in, because when you have, and I call this part my love seeker, and this is the part that really gets us a lot into trouble with all of our relationships, where we just go and seek love, sometimes in all the wrong places, where we will manifest people. We can do that, where people come into our life sometimes, and they're here to teach us something about, this love seeker here that really is hurting. And sometimes we repeat these patterns over and over and over again in our relationships because we just don't get it. And the reason why we don't get it is because we haven't healed this part of us. And I'm seeing that maybe this is maybe why you're walking away from something. Maybe you've just been hurt one too many times. Maybe you're sitting with some heartbreak right now. And this because this love seeker's coming up behind this magician, I'm wondering, maybe there is some heartbreak going on here. And the creative card comes up next, which is the Three of Pentacles. And I think, this is a card kind of that says, it's a collaboration card for me, three people working together. And for me, it kind of means, the universe here is on your side. The universe wants to work with you. You might want to call it God, the creator, source, whatever you call it. I call it the universe. But the universe has always got our backs. And that's why, and I know that. I've had proof many, many times, and I've got signs and red flags, and things have happened where it's like, okay, the universe has shown me that they've had my back. And I'm feeling like, here's this part of you that's in reverse, and it's a wand card. It's the Three of Wands. And wands is that spiritual body, that creative side of us, that one that talks about our mission, what we want to do in life, where we want to take ourselves. And it's in reverse right now, but I'm seeing, and it's a 3, so it's creative again, the creative card, but I'm seeing that there's something here that maybe you're thinking or have thought about something you've always wanted to do. And it's in reverse here. And I understand why it's in reverse, because I've already established in your shadow that it looks like, you've taken on some belief systems in trying to figure out who you really are. So there is something here that's you're sitting with, that maybe you know what it is that you want to do, you wish you could do, but you're just not believing that you can do it for some reason. You've either been told you can't do it, you've been told it's a stupid idea, you've been told you can't make money doing this, And you're just seeing it as, I don't even know how I would actually do it. I just don't have the worthiness. I don't think I can do it. And this last card explains what you're feeling. And this is the Five of Swords right here. It's another mental card, right? That mental energy, the belief systems here. And so this individual right here, he has this grimace on his face because he's just been in battle. This is a 5. So we're seeing some change is going to take place here before, we got to go through this conflict here though. So he's ran away with these swords and he's really happy about himself. To me, I look at this as a bully card. Here's the bully. And bullies are all full of shame. And shame is that shitty feeling that we get from people. Shame is not something that we're born with. It's something that people give us. Here, I feel shitty about myself and I'm going to make you feel shitty about you. Here's some shame. And that's how we get shame. Everybody has it. And I look at that individual at the back, that small card there, small individual at the back, and he has his face hidden. And I know for me, whenever I've worked through my own shame, I know it's shame when I put my hand on my face because I'm covering my shame. I'm covering myself. It's that embarrassment of being who you are and not feeling good enough. And so I'm feeling like there's some shame here that's blocking this creative nudge here, or whatever it is, how you want to lead your life. Creativity is whatever you want it to be. You want to change your lifestyle. You want to do something different. You want to decide to wear red shoes instead of your boring white ones. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it could be anything you want to do. But it's doing it for you because you freaking want to do it. Not because other people say, you should do it. Because you want to do it. So what's coming up in your shadows that's kind of, something's coming up here that you're thinking about wanting to do something different because you're tired of, people having told you what you're like. So I feel like there's almost like a bit of a new you coming out here of you wanting to get to know yourself, and the shadows coming up, and there's a lot of opportunities for you in your shadow, and I see it, and there's your authenticity sitting in here, who you really are. And the Two of Cups comes up as your first card for clarification. And the Two of Cups is, people like to call this, I think, like a lover's card, an exchange here. It's an exchange. And twos are all about a duality, like a duality, sometimes a choice or an option. And so, and this looks like it's an intimate sharing. They're going to share their cups. And this Caduceus here tells me that it's a very healing card. And for me, I'm saying that this healing card is coming up for you in your shadow because, well, there's some healing that needs to be done. And it's a very intimate card, but it's about getting intimate with yourself. It's about getting to know who you really are on an intimate, vulnerable. It's about getting vulnerable with yourself, and that means feeling your emotions. Because your Page of Swords is here that talks about your authenticity and knows who you are. But it's time that you go inwards and start to find out and get vulnerable and emotional with you to find out who you are. And this individual is, these 10 of Wands, this individual is trying to keep down these wands. Now, what you have to understand about wands, you can't keep creative wands down because wands are the creativity side of us. Wands are the ones that want to go out and be you and be authentic and follow your purpose, right? And I always talk about this card as me buying these helium balloons and trying to push them into my vehicle after I've purchased them and trying to keep them all down and push them in my car so I can close the door on them. Well, this is the same with wands. I've talked about that there's so much in your shadow that wants to come out that you don't even see, that you're not seeing because too many people have told you growing up that you couldn't do what it is that you want to do. Or maybe you don't even know what it is. But in you're repressing these wands inside of you. These wands have been repressed. So at a younger age, you were told no or whatever, and you just shoved it down. And so you're trying to keep it down, right? This is you trying to keep these wands down that want to fly up. They're not heavy. They're light. They want to fly up in the air. And this is also you, you know, this 5 of cards that says, here you are, you know, there's this focus on these 3 cups. Did I say 5 of cards? 5 of cups. These 3 cups that are spilled. And your focus is on, you know, again, this is about all the conflict. Your focus is on these 3 cups when you don't see these other 2. And behind here you have the water flowing. These are about, like, your emotions are flowing here. And you don't see the silver lining, the white bridge on the other side that leads you to a different path. And so you are not seeing, that's what tells me, is you are not seeing all this beautiful abundance that's in your shadow, because you're too focused on what people have told you, and that's those 3 spilled cups right there. And so I can see you almost like sitting in, you know, sort of like a hopelessness state where it's like you just kind of given up, right? And that would have been you as a child, just given up because you were told no, you couldn't do this. And so, but the shadow saying, no, there's still 2 cups here. There's still 2 cups here. And you know, you did get the magician at the beginning. You know, you have the answers. They're inside your shadow. So if there's something you want to do and you know what it is, you can do it. And if you don't think you can, for some reason, you got to go into your shadow. You got to go inwards and see what emotions are preventing you. Could be fear, could be shame that came up for you, could be hopelessness. And this is how this journey works. This is how it works. You got to go through the emotions if you want to bring any change in your life. And so the universe or the tarot is saying, you know, here you are, like, rather than focus on the 5 of cups, which, you know, came up is the first card right here. It's in reverse. So here's your focus. Like, they want you to turn this around. And their last card that they gave us in the first row was, here's the 4th cup here. Do you want to start feeling? Do you want it? Are you going to take it from the universe? Because the Queen of Wands comes up. And the Queen of Wands, the Queen for me is that feminine part of us. We all have a feminine part and a masculine part. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter your gender. Every single person on this planet has this feminine part of them. And the feminine part is all about intuition, creativity, authenticity, stillness, getting into your body, feeling your emotions. She's the Queen of Wands. She's all about creativity. She's all about authenticity. She is all about doing what you want to do. Following your purpose, what you think it is you want to do. That is what you're getting. So there is an invitation for you to take this cup from the universe and begin to go inwards and start to trust yourself more, so that once you start to do that, because you need to do that because you've trusted. And I talked about how I was, you know, it's sometimes when I tell a story on here, I know I'm telling it, but I'm not really sure why. But I just told you a story about how I was so used to and patterned and conditioning to being controlled by people and doing what they wanted to do. When it came time for me to try to make decisions by myself, I can't tell you how difficult that was for me. And so this is kind of the same similar situation where this is saying you have all the answers in you. You have this beautiful, abundant creativity, something sitting in your shadow. And there's an offer for you to start to feel so that you can start to find out who you are, get in touch with your purpose. And it's beautiful that the King of Cups is next. Because the King of Cups is the masculine side to us. But this is a grounded king because he's upright. And so this grounded king is very in touch with his emotions. This grounded king is very much aware that, we need to get stillness. We need to get quiet in our life. We need to go inwards, and we need to feel. We need to feel. We need to get in touch, and this king is not scared to feel. The last card for you is justice. And justice means you are going to bring truth to this whole situation. And that's what you're going to make something right. And we've talked about this, how, you, just from the first card, how you are fed up with being told who you are, what you're allowed to do. Maybe you've been controlled. I don't know. I said that story. I'm not sure if it's, but it's about time that you take this cup from the universe so that you can make things right for yourself. And that's what the journey is all about in life is, we get handed all this stuff when we grow up and all these belief systems and patterns and conditioning. That's not us. And then as we work our way through life, we start to say, well, wait a minute here. Who am I? Like, who am I really? It's not what people told me. Wait a minute here. I want to find out who I am. And I don't want to make it right for me. I don't give a shit about what other people think. I want to make it right for me. And sometimes we have to take that attitude, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about other people, because a lot of us are people pleasers. And, sometimes to put yourself first, you almost got to take that attitude as I don't give a shit, because that's hard. It's hard to go from one extreme to the other, right? We try to find this middle way where we finally find ourselves. So I hope this resonates with you, Aries. I'm going to give you, you are the adventurous one. You are the daredevil. You are the one that is not afraid to take risks. Aries is the one that goes out and gets it, right? It's the magician, the one that just makes things happen. And I think it comes for you. It gets to the point where you just, I'm doing this on my own. I'm finding out my own truth. I'm finding out who I am. And that's going inwards and feeling. And so I think I'm going to leave you with, I'm going to leave you with some, I want you to go inwards. I'm going to leave you with a grounding thing. I want you to start to get in your body. I want you to start to find out what it means to get in your body, to get out of your head. But I'm going to teach you how to ground your mind too, because when you get in that state where your mind's spinning, hearing all these ideas from other people, and you need to you need to ground that mind of yours, and then you need to ground to get in your body so you can get back into it and start feeling. And that's what I'm going to give you, is a really good grounding video I have on that. I have a good one. So, and here is your oracle card. Wow. Nightingale spirit. Love is all around. Yeah. So, and I know this journey, to get a card like this, it's if you're sitting in this kind of situation, you're like, yeah, right. Yeah, love is all around. What I want to say about this love card right here, love is all around, but for me, I had to begin to find me, is what this is kind of asking you to go towards. And once you begin to find you, and once you begin to put yourself first and take that attitude of, I'm going to find out who I really am, that's loving yourself. Even though you won't call it that, but that's what it is. And if you don't love yourself, and, really, most people don't, but you just, once you start putting yourself first, you develop this respect for who you are. And that's when you start to set boundaries for yourself. And then that's where all the self-care comes in. And that's where the love just organically starts to build, right? And it is all around you. The universe has your support. And you now have to have your own back and say, I'm doing this. I'm going to do this on my own. I don't care what other people say. I'm going for this. So best of luck, Aries. I hope this resonated with you. hope you have some compassion for yourself, and I really do hope you start to ground and go inwards and find out who you really are and use some of your, Aries energy to just plow through this and say, this is what I'm doing for me. And I'll see you next month. Take care.